Recording from St. Louis, Missouri, welcome to the Slap Save Pinball Podcast with your hosts, Chris Haper and Jason Fowler.
This is Jason Fowler with the Slap Save Pinball Podcast, and what I wanted to do here is set the tone for what you're about to hear. It is 2019. We were at the Texas Pinball Festival. On Friday night, met up with some guys and ended up at the hotel lounge, and my good friend Ken Cromwell from Special Winlet was able to just keep bringing pinball people over for us to interview on our podcast. And the levels aren't perfect. Could have asked better questions if I was prepared, but I still think it's worthwhile. I think it's a good listen, and I hope you enjoy it as much as I did putting it together. I was actually dizzy. I was so excited when I was doing some of it. So it's not perfect. The sound gets a little rough at times because it's loud where we're doing it, but I think you can make it out. So enjoy it, and thanks for listening to the Slap Save Pinball Podcast.
Welcome to the Slap Save Pinball Podcast, and about the most special edition you will ever see on our young life.
Are they going to see it?
Yeah, they're going to see it, all right. The helicopter and
the visual podcast.
Yes.
Is prominent.
So we are at Texas Pinball Festival. It is Friday night. It is actually technically Saturday morning.
It says battery out, though.
It is not battery out. It saves the battery, and I'm leaving that and we have a round table. I'd like everybody to say their name. That includes you, Schmitty. I know you don't like to talk, but you're going to.
He's a man of many words.
And we'll actually start with you. That way you can get up the gumption by the time it comes back around. And we're going to start with, we've got like all the Midwest podcasts together right now, and we're going to talk some pinball. We don't know what direction we're going in, but we are going to get there. So
you think that thing's really picking up?
It is.
All I know is I'm pulling my seat up.
It is.
My is going to be heard all I like.
Promise you.
Hey, what's up, Pinball Land? Welcome to Special Winlet episode number 28, whatever.
28.
So right now, like there's the levels, there's 0. You see where it's at? I'm telling you, it's fine.
All right, we're good.
We're good. It's fine.
Sorry.
So
Jump the gun a little bit there.
Yeah, you're fine.
All right, so start with
Zach.
this gentleman.
Start it off.
It's me, Zach Meny from straight down the middle Pinball Show. How's it going, King Cromwell?
It's unleashed. It's been unleashed already.
Yeah.
Oh no.
Thanks for having me on.
No problem. I'm honored to have you guys here. This is like an all-star of pinball podcasting. It really is. I, of course, am Jason Fowler, and you probably know me. I'm without Chris, my dirty, filthy-mouthed
No brick shot.
brethren. Yeah, there will be no brick shot. I think we might be able to get somebody here to do one.
I might be able to do a brick shot.
For sure. And to my left is the one and only
Bill Webb.
Yes.
We're here.
With Special Winlet.
Somewhat sober.
Yes.
Whirlwind corner.
There has been a lot of booze being consumed here tonight, so bear
All
with
dogs
us.
in the house.
And to his left,
Ken Cromwell, Special Winlet.
my good friend Ken.
Jason, thanks for having us on, man.
Anytime. Glad to have you guys
Love
here.
podcasting out of Frisco, Texas.
Yes, we're out on a patio. The weather has been just absolutely beautiful. Let's move on.
Go ahead.
Let's say it. Yeah.
I'm Dave O with Chicago Gaming, and I'm just here listening to complaints.
And what's that number for complaints, Zach?
That's right.
That's
Slap Save Podcast.
Well, we are not going to complain tonight. This is a no complaint zone, I
The
promise.
complaint box will be empty.
Yes. Steve, announce yourself, buddy.
Yeah, man, Steve Beatty. I'm a friend of all of you guys.
That's right.
I'm a friend of all the podcasts.
Except for that guy.
And a lover of all chicken.
Except for, that guy.
Why didn't you sound that good in our last episode?
He's got like
I don't know. You didn't roofie me up.
He saved it out, man.
Steve has suddenly got the theater trailer voice going. I like it. And next to him on his left, the theater trailer voice.
Joe Fox?
Joe Fox.
Yeah.
Say hello, Joe.
Hello, Joe.
Joe Fox.
Yeah,
That's awesome.
Mr.
Yeah.
Delaware.
Do you get the
You've got
award
mail.
for the longest like drive or flight or mileage here, right?
No raw dog.
No, Australia.
Oh, we haven't got back to him.
Well, so far,
he's so far.
So far, yes.
Yes.
From,
All right.
Delaware, I don't know how many miles it is.
I like it.
A lot.
Delaware,
All right.
Pennsylvania.
And another good friend to his left, Jason Schmitty. Say hi, Jason.
Schmitty?
Just Schmitty. That's it.
Just Schmitty. That's all he wants is Schmitty. Schmitty clear coats in his garage without a suit or without any sort of protection.
He throws those playfields in the dryer.
Yeah,
Dry off on
basically his balls have shriveled up like a prune. So we were a little concerned about him, but he's going to make
He
it.
does leave the door open, though.
Yeah, because that'll do it. Oh, and the box fan from Lowe's for $6.
Even been
Yeah, it's a OSHA
it's a
approved.
last-
And a bed sheet in front of it to catch anything.
The bed sheet.
Is that
And
a
then-
dogwood reference? What was it?
All the way from beautiful Australia.
Rawdon Osborne, 15-hour flight. Did it easy. Come and meet all my buddies here for the podcast.
So you wouldn't think it would get any better than that with that top tier talent, but you'll never guess who just walked out the door. Ladies and gentlemen, just off of his flight, am I correct?
Yeah, buddy.
Jack Danger.
Big shot! Oh, yeah!
Say hello, Jack.
How's it going, Internet? Good.
So, how do you like the show so far?
It's a great
It's
beer.
one beer, right?
It's a great beer. The beer is great.
He's like, oh, boobity.
I'm going to grab some. Anybody need some?
So,
How is the show so far?
the show has been great.
Hell
So,
yeah.
and I wanted to ask, I know two of us here are first.
Recording right now, live.
Yeah.
Dope. Wait, both? There's
Yeah,
two
dude,
recordings
it's
going
double barrel.
on? I like it.
So there's two of us here have never been to Texas Pinball Festival. There might be others.
I have not been.
3,
Oh, really?
4,
Holy shit.
5. We've got
Dude.
5, and from
Right
those
on.
5 people, I'd like to ask especially what your thoughts are. Bill, you want to start off? What are your initial impressions of the show?
Very impressed. It's, it really blew kind of my expectations away.
Yep.
I'm spitting on myself now.
He's
drooling over how awesome
Great
job.
It's my physique.
I was
It
thinking
tends to do that.
about burritos, so getting kind of hungry. No, but honestly, it's well organized, and really looking forward to tomorrow.
Yes. Yeah. It only gets better as the weekend goes on.
And we've had some good times.
Yes, for sure.
Dogwood trees and all.
I knew he was going to get it in there. The dogwood trees. Inside joke.
Just
Yeah. So
The Christmas trees.
expose that stuff.
all right, so I gotta drop this because I heard it and it made me laugh out loud on one of the last podcasts I heard. Crouton Crommy, what do you think?
All right, so TPF as a whole is impressive, but it's so popular I can't play on a pinball machine. I literally cannot get on a machine.
Point. That's a great
So that being said, as a whole, experiencing pinball being celebrated is great. But if you're here to jump on a Munsters Premium or on a Jersey Jack Pirates, you got to get in line, and that's cool. That just means that pinball's popular. So,
Yeah.
What are we looking forward to seeing tomorrow? I need to look at the schedule.
A lot of seminars.
That's Jack Danger back there.
Yeah.
This is my third
Oh, here you go,
one
Jack.
Yeah.
in
my
6
bad.
years. And the Texas Pinball Festival is the one I really don't like to miss.
for
It's a
Zach.
Pinhead festival.
Right. I agree. Steve, what do you think? You like it so
Or-
far?
I love it, man. I love hanging out with you guys. This is, to me, this is what
I agree.
This is what Expo or TPF is all about. It's hanging out with buddies and flipping some pen and
Drinks.
just obviously some
There's
drinks.
been a few drinks.
and Steve, not to podcast bomb your statement,
Yeah.
but I've not flipped one game of pinball here. But I'm
played
having
one
the
game.
greatest time.
I know,
I've
right?
had hanging out with everybody
Right?
here.
Exactly.
And I've been here 2 days.
Yeah.
That's it.
So that's
all I
It
play.
is. It's almost like when you have people over your house, but it's like 42,000 square feet versus whatever square
exactly
footage
what
of
it
your
is.
house
Yeah.
is.
And you don't have to
It's
clean
And
up.
the drinks
Yeah,
are way
you don't
more
have to
expensive.
clean up. Yeah,
Guys, I mean, from my perspective,
yeah.
this is just pinball on steroids. I mean, I go to a show in Australia. there's 70 machines.
Sure.
And there's like 200 people. How many people are here? How many machines are here?
So last year they said 400 machines, and if anything, this year it's bigger.
Yeah.
If anything, it's
and
bigger.
I mean, me and Bill, we played one game all day. That's fine. I'm just here for the entertainment. You know, I know all you guys through the internet, but now I'm meeting you face to face and
You're
just
super
hanging out.
Pinball's about Cheers to that. We all say this. Pinball's about people. It's the relationships. With strong personalities and clashes of those personalities. We all sit down together and we celebrate pinball as a whole, collectively for TPS.
Those are a lot of cheers going on right above the microphone, and you get that is just going. Yeah, it just basically shows what this is all about here. So I love it. This is my favorite show. I love Expo. Don't get me wrong, but I've told my wife, you're going to have to go to Texas once a year for the rest of your life until I'm unable to do this anymore, because I love it that much. Yeah. It is about the people, and it's that much fun. So, all right, so moving on, let's talk about, did we see any games that we haven't seen? Now, it's obvious this year they're not dropping any huge bombs as far as new releases go, but there is at least one new machine on the floor that I think nobody's seen really, at least at length, and that is Cosmic Carnival. Yep. Has all of you guys seen that?
While you discuss this, do you mind if I excuse myself and bring in a mystery guest?
Absolutely.
Would that be okay? I'll be right back.
Yeah, all right. That sounds good. So, you guys at Cosmic Carnival?
Yes.
What? Any thoughts on it?
I thought it looked cool. I'm looking forward to seeing how the rest of it plays out with programming and animation. But the layout looked, it wasn't super crowded, but I mean, it looked, fun to shoot.
Right.
I didn't get a chance to flip it, but I thought
is that the
Suncoast?
Suncoast?
Yes.
Oh, right.
Yes, it is.
Dirty Donnie Yard.
Yeah, it looked awesome.
So my only concerns is, and if you guys might have noticed, it's pretty symmetrical. Yeah. It's the art is just unbelievable. It's one of those things that grabs your attention as you're walking by, and that will sell that machine alone, I believe. But the layout it's plastic ramps, which that's fine. Some people love those, some people hate them, but it is pretty symmetrical. There's some cool sculpts on it. Yeah. I didn't get to flip it, so I can't really say a whole lot about the gameplay. But yeah, anyone else that saw it or got to play it?
Do you think it's like a 70s game built for 2019?
Well, that is the going thing right now.
I'm looking at it going, it's symmetrical. We haven't had a symmetrical machine for 30 years.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm looking forward to flipping it.
It does have ramps. That changes that level play field.
Yeah.
Does it have an LCD
no
screen?
Machines it hasn't been done for 30
it has an LCD.
years. It's symmetrical.
Yeah. And the art is, I can't harp on the art enough. It is
visually, it's beautiful.
It is a beautiful machine.
But so is Magic Girl.
Yeah. That's true.
It still is. There's one
out
front.
It still is. It's a box of blinking lights.
It's a box of artwork.
It's a sexy box.
It is.
It is.
I didn't mean to interrupt, but
mystery guest.
I've got a mystery guest for you. Somebody that is very well respected in the pinball community. Somebody that you personally respect in the pinball community. And we're going to bring him live on the Slap Safe Pinball Podcast. For the first time on Slap Safe Pinball Podcast, Mr. Artist Christopher Franchi. Welcome to Slap Safe.
Whoa!
Mr. Jason Fowler.
Right on.
Mr. Franchi.
His lovely daughter, Presley Franchi.
Hey, I got some podcast tips for you guys.
Oh, nice! You could never have enough podcast tips.
How are you, Jason?
I'm doing good. Thanks for joining us.
You got it.
All right.
Thanks for having me.
So
pleasure to be here.
Yeah.
So what's your least favorite service?
Probably one I did.
So talk to us. Tell us what do you think about the show?
It's fantastic. As far as I'm concerned, it's the best pinball show there is. I love it. I have a great time. You can tell I'm losing my voice.
Yeah. I'll bring it a little closer to you.
That's what she said.
Yeah.
That's what he said. Having a great time. It's great. It's good to see everybody. The good thing about these shows is that it's like pinball without Pinside. It's all positive. Everyone you see you like. There's no bitching. There's no bullshit. There's no this game shoots like that. It's all the good parts about pinball. So what's not to love, you know?
I agree. Had a few drinks, maybe, like the rest of us?
Just a few, yeah.
Just a few? Yeah. Yep. What else can we talk about, guys?
As an artist, Chris, working for the powerhouse at Stern and being able to have your renderings and your artistic talent displayed, where do you see artwork progressing in the future, and how much of collateral does that hold for a game moving
Good question.
forward? Because I think what we see now is like artwork can sell a game, and it can also like kind of make up for lack thereof of other places in a game that should be.
Well, and on the other side, it could also stunt a game.
Exactly.
Yeah.
I've a lot of people came up to me at this show and said that they bought a Monsters just because of the artwork.
I believe that.
And that's not to say anything against what John did. It's just here's somebody that maybe they didn't care. They're just like, whatever, I could take it or leave it. But the artwork sold me.
Absolutely.
I think the artwork plays a much bigger role these days. I think stepping up the game, it's good for everybody. It makes everybody do that. I think people need to realize they need to drop money on art, because it's, as much as people want to say, oh, it's the game, it's how it shoots, it's how it's that. It's when you first see that game. And it's basically art, It takes you a minute to go over there and look inside and see what the ramps are like and the toys and all the crap. It's the art that you first see that draws you in. And if you drop the ball on that, it's like if they took a Lamborghini and put a gremlin body on it. You wouldn't even test drive it and know it was awesome.
Yeah.
You just look at it and go, what a hunk of
Right.
So it's it's the gift wrap. It's very important, and I think I don't think it was always the case. I think it definitely wasn't always the case, but it is now. So you have to work and you have to create in the world that you're in. You're not in the past. You're not in anything you wish. It's a reality. That's what you have to do. So, tons of artists out there. As long as they understand pinball. That's, because like Canada did a podcast, and he's like, get out there. There's great there's artists everywhere. Well, you don't just need a good artist. You need to understand pinball and how to convey that in your artwork.
Sure.
You might be able to sit down and draw slash, awesome, but so what? How are you going to work that into a pinball design? Because, the play field, but to really understand the playfield and how it works, you have to know what you're doing. You can't just go to DeviantArt and go, wow, that's a great picture of Spawn, let's hire this guy. It doesn't work that way. But you need to invest the time, you need to train people, and you need to get there.
I think traditionally, if you look at games that were considered classics, especially early solid state era, a lot of it's gameplay, but a lot of it comes down to art. I mean, look at the Paragons and the Fathoms, and those games were known for being artistic masterpieces. And I think moving forward, we're getting into an era where that has become more and more popular. And I think, honestly, a large part of that is we have become spoiled by the art that's been put out for the last 3-4 years.
My second mystery guest of the evening, Ken from Special One Late Pinball Podcast,
and my
reintroducing right now.
My favorite pinball designer.
And his favorite pinball designer, Mr. John Borg from Stern Pinball. John, what's up? Let's clap it up. Woo!
Yes.
Yeah. Yes. John, welcome to the Slap Safe Pinball Podcast with Jason Fowler.
How are you?
Thank you.
I'm Jason.
Nice to meet you, Jason.
John, thanks so much for joining us. It is an absolute honor. So, what do you think of the show so far?
So far, I had a really good time this afternoon at the autograph session with Butch and Pat. I proposed to Pat this afternoon, but because I've been in love with her since I was 8 years old.
Nice.
She turned me down because she's already married.
Yeah, that always gets in the way.
I didn't know that.
Yeah, semantics, Yeah.
So I tried, and I even got down on my knee.
That didn't do it. That's amazing.
I couldn't talk her out of the other guy or anything.
Yeah.
So he must be a pretty good guy.
So, talk to me about the Monsters. Wow. So, what about the Monsters are you most proud of?
Well, first off, it was a total dream theme, and I've been wanting to do it for years and years, and since like the mid-'90s. And finally it came across the table. I'm really glad it came now because, you know, with the new display, it just really shows really well. I don't think it would have been that great as a dot matrix game.
Yeah.
The playfield shoots really nice, and I just love the title so much. I had to make a really unbelievable shooting game.
Yeah.
And the guys, just everybody on the video department, and Chris and Dwight and Elliot, my mechanical engineer, everybody just did a great job, and everybody was really into it.
You guys have just a phenomenal amount of assets out of that license that I know in the past you sometimes, and I know it's no admittance of Stern or any employees at Stern, but there's sometimes a license can be a little bit of a hurdle, or a license may restrict you in some ways, and I'm not saying that's you saying that, it's me saying that.
Oh yeah, no, it's true.
But I think the Munsters shows an ability to work with a licenser that where you can milk and get assets to where you guys can creatively come up with whatever you desire, and it shows. It really does. And
I was lucky. I got to use all the character voices from the show, except for we had the Paul Lynn. Michael Arrington came in and he did the Paul Lynn voice.
Yeah,
I did the Raven.
I heard that, and you did a great job.
Mel Blanc is a hard act to follow. I did the best I could, but I was going to meetings, and they'd be like, "Are you going to be finished with the Whitewood on Friday?" And I'm like, "You got it, Charlie." You know, and I was and I just started
doing the Raven, just
dropping Raven voices here and there. And everyone's like, "You should do the Raven voice." And I'm like, "Yeah, I'm gonna give it a whirl."
Yeah.
And we auditioned a couple people for it. They weren't that good, and I was kind of like iffy about doing it myself.
I remember hearing that. That's very cool.
That was really fun to do.
Yeah.
But you know, the episodes are 70 plus episodes, and they were half an hour long.
Sure.
But I would spend 2.5 hours on each one because, you know, I'm going back and I'm getting timestamps. You know, season 1, episode 3, 4 minutes and 10 seconds. Herman says this, blah 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 blah.
Yeah.
And I spent hours and hours, hundreds of hours, just watching those videos.
Right.
And 2 years before we got the license, I was DVRing it, and I watched season 1 and 2 back to back twice.
Yeah.
You know, and then when we finally got the title, then I had to really dig in.
Oh, I can imagine.
So I was glad I had it fresh in my mind when I started because I knew, you know, what episodes were really, really good.
Yeah.
But it was a blast. It was a blast.
That gives a lot of insight into the amount of work that goes into these titles, because I know as a collector and as someone who loves pinball and loves the work that you guys put into these things, I guess it's easy to maybe take for granted the amount of time and effort that's done, even on the most simplest of things, like pulling assets from those, or pulling clips from those assets that you're given. And as a collector and a fan, I appreciate what you guys do, and I appreciate your talent and what you bring to pinball, and always have.
Thank you.
We do.
We appreciate that too.
So
this is a blast. You know, it's awesome to come to the shows and see everybody all excited about something you slaved over for a year.
Absolutely. I've played the game. Chris, my podcast co-host that couldn't be here and is actually going to absolutely be so mad at me.
It only took 20 guys to replace him.
I'm sitting here interviewing one of his heroes, and he owns the LE version of your game, and absolutely loves it. And it has been an absolute honor to talk to you and Chris. And I really appreciate you taking the time to do it. John, thanks so much. I sincerely appreciate it. I really do. Just so you know, we're recording. So beatbox that. That was
podcast here.
Listen to this.
Marketplace.
This is a
Podcast.
beatbox, podcast. I am here with Jack Danger and Bowen Kerins, And Ken Cromwell.
No, I am the delivery system of this.
So you guys, Bowen, when did you show up? Was it just recently, or have you been here since when?
I've always been here, man.
Yeah, baby.
He's got a summer
His heart's
home.
in Frisco.
He's got a summer home in Frisco.
I arrived at Texas Pinball Fest this morning, Friday, around 11 a.m. noon.
Yeah.
With Scott Denisi and his wife Sarah Rose Denisi.
Yep.
We ate some vegan food for lunch.
Yeah.
Wow.
It was shockingly delicious.
Yeah,
really?
Best vegan food I've ever had.
Anything Sarah Rose makes, like
now, are you normally a vegan eater, or is
No,
this something?
I am the opposite of a vegan eater. I'm looking out the side, wondering
He eats vegan.
How close is the nearest In-N-Out burger?
So you are here, and you have an actual event set up to where you're going to go through.
You blow it up.
Alice Cooper, right?
Yeah.
Talk a little bit about that.
Last year, I was here for a seminar to do a live tutorial of Total Nuclear Annihilation,
which became legend.
And thank you.
He trolled the audience.
I was
too,
like,
he
did.
So I'm here to destroy all 9 reactors, right? And then I did not expect to do it.
Oh, whatever. He blew it up.
And
one of the best saves I think ever witnessed on YouTube was on that video.
Just a little shimmy save in the right
outlane save. Yep, outlane save out of that.
Save, you're like, what?
Yeah.
Okay, I guess that happened. Yeah.
That's become a legend among us pinball nerds. We love it. So, so Alice Cooper next, right?
Yeah, so this year they have me tutorialing Alice Cooper's Nightmare Castle, which is the next Spooky Pinball game. I am now the rules designer for Spooky Pinball, and have worked on this game for the last 12 months, basically to organize it, get interesting things into the game, and
so no excuses if it sucks.
We'll talk through it. Yeah, I enjoy playing. Like you play a game a lot, and you kind of get sick of it. I still want to play it. And
was it Texas here last year that you got hired?
That's right.
They announced it.
They announced it. Right after that, they announced it. I've been talking to Spooky for a few weeks about getting into that role for them because they felt like they needed some more ideas. And now we're getting those ideas for this game and for the future with myself. Spook's also bringing on Eric Kripke, who did Cactus Canyon Continued.
Oh, absolutely.
As EP the Geek will also be a programmer.
Has that been announced already? Or is this a first right here?
Hopefully it's been announced by somebody.
If it hasn't, I'll save it.
Charlie just threw
I'm not out to get you. I'm not out to get you, Bowen. I promise.
And we'll both be working under Scott Denisi for his next
Haunted House Party.
Fantastic. Is that Kid and Play or is that just some regular house?
It's
party?
perfect.
It's like a haunted party in your house and everyone's invited.
You heard it here first on the Slap Safe Pinball podcast that nobody believes. No one ever.
It's gonna be like a triple troll.
Because the title wasn't enough.
That was some bone shaking that just went on Bowen.
Bone shaking. That was from Bowen Kerins.
This company is called Spooky Pinball. What do you think is going to happen?
I love it. So tell me, how does your, work with Spooky, how has that changed maybe your outlook, or are you enjoying that new attack of pinball, or how do you feel about what you're doing, and what do you feel like you've brought maybe that wasn't there before with Spooky?
One of the things I think that working with Spooky is opening for me is that you have all these different styles of player who come to a game. Someone who's barely ever played pinball before, who is an intermediate player, who's an advanced player, who's an expert player, and you have to create an experience for those players that will make them all satisfied with the time they spend playing your game. Because if they don't have a good time, they won't be back.
Absolutely.
And so, especially for the newest players, you want there to be things for them to do that feel satisfying right away. So we brought back the old Day to East rule, where if you haven't done anything by ball 3, you
get hooked up.
You get hooked up with something.
A multi-ball.
In this case, it's a monster battle. So we have eight monster battles in the game, and you're going to get one automatically in ball 3 if you didn't reach it yourself. There's a 2-ball multi-ball that is 2 shots away at the beginning of every player, every ball. So expert players can use that to help them attain some other goals and stack it through, while a beginner player will just be like, oh, multi-ball. Yeah. All of those multi-balls that we have in the game are also lock-stealing multi-balls. Right. So if you step up to the game, there's already a ball in the lock, it's one shot away for you, and you'll say, hey, there's a ball there. I wonder what happens if I hit it. Boom. So those are the kind of things that a player who is new to pinball will come back from and go like, I want to play this game again. Right. And couple that with good sound effects, good speech, good light shows, good animation. The artwork, I think, is really excellent on this game.
I think everybody agrees with that one.
That is what brings people back to pinball, and I think I'm pretty good at coming up with good things for expert players to do as well. But you have to focus well enough on the new player and the early intermediate player, because they're the ones who are going to stick to it and become hooked for life instead.
Right. Well, Bowen, I don't want to keep you too long. I know you're busy and it's getting late.
Dude, but let's say this. I mean, look at these two guys, right? So you've got Bowen Kerins.
Oh, I'm talking to Jack next.
And Jack Danger,
I'm talking to Jack next.
The darling of pinball stream in Chicago. Now, and a lot of people may or may not know this, but these two guys have collaborated on, and they have some podcasts. It's not, the episodes aren't coming out as frequently as the Christopher Franchi Super Duper stuff. But they have that.
There's a frequency.
But listen, I felt compelled to jump in from Chicago and seeing these guys from the Midwest, and one of my personal personal guys I just look up to is a pinball ambassador, Jack Danger. I'm going to step away from here. But Jack and Bowen, like, it's so cool to see you guys together and talking with Jason at Slap Safe. So I'm going to step away. And I just want to say real briefly.
Jack is not only now a pinball ambassador, he is an official Twitch ambassador.
Yep. Yes, and before I start talking to Jack, I just want to say, your tutorials through Papa and everything that you've done on YouTube is a complete game changer to someone like me, who I feel like I'm a mere mortal when it comes to pinball, and the gameplay explanations and just your sense of humor.
Oh, it's terrible.
And the way you go.
Sorry, it's dad humor all the way, man.
One of my favorite moments is watching him stream
dad humor all the way down.
Alice Cooper Nightmare Castle, and then when that dance mode comes on, and he just traps that ball up, and everyone's dancing in real time, and we're all dancing right now. Holy. Was that awesome? That is pinball history. That is podcast history.
That is podcast dancing.
It was awesome. To see this.
The credit of that goes to Bug, Charlie's son, who picked the songs that they were going to offer and tell Alice Cooper. Yeah. Say, these are the songs you want to put in the game. Alice Cooper read that list of songs, and he's like, Oh, okay. It's going to be like this. Yeah. This is going to be good.
I sincerely appreciate everything you've done for pinball.
It's my son's favorite song now.
That is awesome.
Disco Bloodbath Boogie Fever.
That is awesome. I love it. Well, thanks so much for everything you do for pinball. Sure. I really do.
It's an honor to be able to do it, and there's a whole crew of other people included, especially Mark Steinman, who's been part of that project since it began. And he does all the editing work. He does all the camera setup. His work as a photographer and a videographer has made those videos look the way they do, and that's a huge part of the success of the program.
All right. Well, thanks so much. I really appreciate it.
Thanks. Glad to be here.
Moving on. Oh, God. To an ambassador of pinball like no other.
Oh, no.
One who has shaped pinball, has gotten people involved in pinball that never would have been otherwise.
Yes.
That has become the master of streaming, an instructor of streaming, an instructor of pinball building even now.
Oh, yeah, I'm building.
We're getting there. You are building. Jack Danger.
The man who decided that shot on Deadpool wasn't complicated enough, so he was going to build one.
I made a double Deadpool.
Even more complicated.
I think that's why George Gomez allowed me to steal a bunch of parts from Stern. He's like, "Oh, you're gonna
step this up. Huh? I want to see you try to make this work.
The man, the myth, the legend. So your influence on pinball can't be understated, and I think the fact that who you've gotten involved and the people that you've brought pinball in front of with your streaming has, Jeffree Star is nothing to shake a stick at.
Yeah, that's
like I honestly
don't you dare just take a stick at him.
No.
My boy.
Honestly, he has put pinball in front of people that would never have given a otherwise.
That stream we did at Pyramid Scheme was the most intense thing. Like, I was stuck between a celebrity and his fans, and I thought I was gonna get murdered.
Mobbed.
It was insane.
Yeah.
And we just had this entire huge group of ladies and men just staring at Indiana Jones, Williams Indiana Jones,
Absolutely.
going, "What the F's going on?" But I don't care because Jeffree Star is doing it, so I love this immediately now.
Exactly.
And I was just blowing it up in front of them, and some people were kind of picking up like what I was throwing down. But yeah, it was.
Well, and it's a testament to, I guess, I had people, my wife's family members that have never known anything about pinball that followed Jeffree Star were suddenly asking me, who is the family pinball nerd, about pinball because they saw Jeffree Star doing it. And all of that, honestly, comes back to you. It really does. And the healthier it is, the more it helps everyone involved, whether it's manufacturers, whether it's fans, whether it's collectors, whether it's players, anything. The more eyeballs you get pinball in front of, the better. Am I correct?
That's all I try to do. Like, I sort of, the last few years, stopped going to pinball conventions and bringing pinball to video game conventions to put that in front of people that otherwise would never have, like, second-guessed even looking at a pinball machine. And from doing all that, like, Twitch has had me bring, like, 8 pinball machines out to, like, TwitchCon every single year that they've had at TwitchCon. Just like, instead of preaching to the choir, making the choir bigger. You know, that's all I'm trying to do.
So you have taken streaming to an all-new level.
It's my full-time job.
Streaming is your thing.
Yeah.
It is, when you think of pinball streaming, you think of Jack Danger.
My man.
So tell me, what is it about streaming that, I guess, calls to you? Like, what is it that drives you to do it, and what has about it that has made you, like, devote so much of your time, your effort, and everything into it?
I like this question because I was literally at, like, an ambassador summit thing where they, like, sort of drove that home. They're like, tell us how to answer this question. And I started streaming to, like, record my process to, like, see where I was messing up and try to get better.
Totally understood.
But then I realized, like, it was a place where pinheads were finding each other in chat, which was awesome. But now my favorite thing is just, like, going to bars, grabbing randos, and be like, in 5 minutes, I can have you playing better pinball than any other idiot in this bar.
Yeah.
Guaranteed. 5 minutes of your time.
Yeah.
And then just watching those people, like, showing someone that has never played pinball before how to do a post pass in front of the internet, and the internet just freaking out and cheering when they successfully do it.
Blowing up.
Because teaching someone how to do something that knows nothing about it is so much easier than people that have, like, bad habits and trying to break that.
Sure.
You know? People are like, I know, and then they don't do it.
The chimp flipping.
Just like I feed off of that, like, energy of people learning this new stuff and, like, building this new fan base of pinheads.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
So I am someone who follows your page, and I follow you pretty closely, like I think a lot of pinball guys do. And you have a new facility that you're working on. So tell us a little bit about that.
So I just got a new storefront in Chicago. It is 1,000 square feet. So the original Dead Flip headquarters was my animation studio that I ran for a very long time.
Sure.
It was 3,500 square feet, and then when Google moved into the neighborhood, I got priced out. That's fine. And then the studio I'm in now is 400 square feet with 17 pinball machines in it, so I have to, like, crawl under games in order to, like, get to where I have to go.
You got your priorities straight, right?
So I found this great storefront with no neighbors in a bad neighborhood for the same price that I'm paying now, and just knocked down all the walls in there. I got an electrician coming out next week to take care of everything, and we could fit comfortably 35 games in there to have a lot of room to walk around, or 50 games if we want to, like, make it a little tight.
Well, Jack, thanks for joining us. I really appreciate it.
I love you, man. Thank you so much for having me.
I appreciate it.
sent Steve this little fake ad I made called the Steve Ritchie Toilet Brush, and it was his head on a handle.
Oh.